Receiving incoming transmission.
Hey everybody, it's this guy here for the Bitchin' Report. I just got done watching Elliot Abrams over on C-SPAN's website get grilled by this pathetic group of congressmen. If you could gut it, I'll leave a link down in the description for you. If you can handle it, it's a couple hours long. But this is the setup for a military action. We are getting ready to go to war. You know, one of the first steps in a coup d'etat is you need to make the government of the country you want to overthrow, you need to make them look like bad guys. And how do you do that? Well, you talk a lot of crap. You lie, you exaggerate, you use extremely inflammatory rhetoric. Make it, talking about dictatorships and starving and humanitarian crisis. I got a whole video ready to drop about how to start a coup d'etat. It's going to be group participation, so everybody get your pencil and paper out and start writing your ideas because I'm going to want to hear from you about it. If you haven't seen my other two videos that I did on this U.S. instigated coup in Venezuela, when you're done here, go check those out. There's a lot of facts in there that you're not going to catch on the nightly BS on the TV. They don't want you to hear this. They want you to hear the rhetoric, the lies, the propaganda. What you're about to see is an awesome example of what American Testicular Frotitude used to look like. We don't have that anymore. We have a bunch of, gosh, I really want to use this word. But this lady, this young woman, is not hitting with velvet gloves. She's going right straight for the junk. So let me introduce you to Ilhan Omar, representative from the state of Minnesota. Let's check out how she handles a war criminal. Listen to this.
Thank you. Ms. Omar.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for your testimonies. Mr. Adams, in 1991, you pleaded guilty to 2 counts of withholding information from Congress regarding your involvement in the Iran-Contra affair, for which you were later pardoned by President George H.W. Bush. I fail to understand why members of this committee or the American people should find any testimony that you give today to be truthful.
If I can respond to that.
It wasn't a question.
On February,
that was not a question. That was I reserve the right to my time.
It is not right.
That was not a question.
Committee can attack
on February 8th,
who is not permitted to reply.
That was not a question. Thank you for your participation. On February 8th, 1982, you testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about U.S. policy in El Salvador. In that hearing, you dismissed as communist propaganda report about the massacre of El Mozote, in which more than 800 civilians, including children as young as 2 years old, were brutally murdered by U.S.-trained troops. During that massacre, some of those troops bragged about raping a 12-year-old girl before they killed them. Girls before they killed them. You later said that the U.S. policy in El Salvador was a fabulous achievement. Yes or no, do you still think so?
From the day that President Duarte was elected in a free election to this day, El Salvador has been a democracy. That's a fabulous achievement.
Yes or no, do you think that massacre was a fabulous achievement? that happened under our watch?
That is a ridiculous question, and I
Yes or no?
No.
I
I'm
will,
sorry, Mr.
I will
Chairman,
take
but
that as a yes.
I am not going to respond to that kind of personal attack, which is not a question.
Yes or no, would you support an armed faction within Venezuela that engages in war crimes, crimes against humanity or genocide, if you believe they were serving U.S. interest, as you did in Guatemala, El Salvador, and Nicaragua?
I am not going to respond to that question. I'm sorry. I don't think this entire line of questioning is meant to be real questions, and so I will not reply.
Whether you, under your watch, a genocide will take place, and you will look the other way because American interests were being upheld, is a fair question, because the American people want to know that anytime we engage a country, that we think about what our actions could be and how we believe our values are being furthered. That is my question. Will you make sure that human rights are not violated and that we uphold international and human rights?
I suppose there is a question in there, and the answer is that the entire thrust of American policy in Venezuela is to support the Venezuelan people's effort to restore democracy to their country. That's our policy.
I don't think anybody disputes that. The question I had for you is that does the interest of the United States include protecting human rights and include protecting people against genocide?
That is always the position of the United States.
Thank you. I yield back my time.
So unfortunately, that is only one of maybe a couple of other instances where this guy was actually questioned about what the fuck he was doing in Nicaragua back in the 80s. If you don't know, just do a quick Google search and read a couple of articles. I guarantee you will not want this guy in the position that he's in. So if you're going to comment, please do not make them derogatory about that lady's religion or where she's from or ethnicity or anything. It will never make it to the front page. Nobody will ever see it. Be respectful. We here at the Bitchin' Report really like engaging in conversation, but we're not going to do it in a junior high childish manner. All right? For the Bitchin' Report, I'm this guy here, bringing you the information you need to be an informed human being. Be safe, everybody.